Hello, here's God's love letter to you, and so it begins. I knew the color of your eyes before they opened to the word. I knew the sound of your voice before your first cry broke the silence. I knew the shape of your heart before it lent joy, before it lent sorrow, before it carried the weight of disappointment and unanswered questions. You are wonderfully made, with mysteries deeper than oceans, with a soul that carries eternity's echo. There is nothing ordinary about you because you are a reflection of my imagination, my artistry, my fine work of art, my masterpiece. Before you ever took a breath, I had already woven intention into your existence, delicate, deliberate, fully complete. Before time learned to speak in ours, before light practiced naming itself, there was dust, quiet, waiting. There was a waiting for you. I formed you, not with rough hands, not with fire that splits the earth open, but with a gentle kind of attention, like a hand that already knows what is shaping. Before the shape had even agreed to exist, I formed you. There was no protest from the earth, only the soft surrender of the soil becoming firm, the patience of minerals remembering they were never meant to stay anonymous forever. I breathe into your empty parts and places, not as an afterthought, but as a promise kept in advance. And when your dust length, it had a name. It trembled, not from fear, but from recognition that being formed is also being known. For when I formed you, I did not merely create a body to occupy space or a life to pass through time. I formed a soul capable of wonder. I placed within you the ability to dream beyond what your eyes can see, to hope beyond what circumstances suggest, and to love beyond what seems reasonable. These are no accidents of humanity. They are traces of my image within you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, crafted with reverence, not haste. There's mystery within you, deeper than oceans, and still I know every current. There are layers within your soul that even you are still discovering. And I am not surprised by any of them. You are not a puzzle to me. You are known, fully, heard gently, and loved without condition. The curve of your smile, the rhythm of your laughter, the way your thoughts wander into questions too deep for easy answers, all of it carries the touch of my care. You are the echo of my love made visible. Before you knew yourself, I knew you. Before you learned to question your words, I had already declared it. You did not come into existence as an afterthought, nor as a correction, nor as something unfinished. You came as intention, alive with meaning. Nothing about you surprised me. Not the days when fates come easily. Not the nights when dad sat beside you. Not the moments when courage rose within you like a river. Not the seasons when fear convinced you to shrink from who you are. I have known it all. I have stood in every chapter of your life, not as a distant observer, but as the author who remains close to every page. I was there in the beginning. You do not remember, and the endings you never wanted. I was there in every tear that fell unnoticed and every victory that felt too small for anyone else to celebrate. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Do not be afraid of who you are becoming. Do not shrink away from the complexities within you, and do not despise the parts of your story that feel so broken or unworthy. Even those places that are beyond my care, they are threads in a greater weaving. They are not places beyond my care. Dark strands that make the light more visible. Quiet chapters that give depth to the whole story. Carefully placed to show my glory. Even when you doubt, even when the world tries to define you, remember, I delight in you. I rejoice over you with singing. Even in your flaws, you are treasured and loved. When you feel unseen, remember, I see you completely. When you feel unheard, remember, I listen to words you cannot even put into words. When you feel like you're falling short, remember that your worth was never measured by performance, but by my truth and love. I delight in you, not only in your strengths, but in your becoming. I rejoice over you with singing, even when you cannot hear it. I am present in the days when you feel strong, and I remain present in the days when you feel like nothing within you is enough. When you feel inadequate, remember that my work is wonderful, and you are part of that work. When you compare yourself to others, remember that I never asked you to be anyone but the person I created you to be. When doubt whispers that you're not enough, listen instead to my voice telling you that you are loved beyond measure. Even your questions are known to me. Even your doubts do not disqualify you. I do not turn away from your uncertainty. I meet you within it. And when voices outside or within you tell you that you are lacking, I speak a different word, that you are heard, that you are seen, that you are enough in my love even as you grow. Comparison was never meant to define you, never asked to become another reflection of someone else's life. I did not shape you from a template. I formed you uniquely with gifts that do not need to imitate anyone else to add value. What I place within you is not accidental. It is intentional, needed, and irreplaceable. The world often teaches you to measure your value by achievement, by appearance, by applause, by comparison. But I did not measure you that way. The stars do not earn their place in the sky. The mountains do not strive to justify their existence. The oceans do not apologize for their depths, and neither must you. Your worth was established long before accomplishment entered the conversation. You are valuable because you're mine. You do not have to become extraordinary to deserve love. You do not have to perform your way into significance. You do not have to exhaust yourself trying to prove what I've already declared. You are valued and loved. Valued and loved when you succeed. Valued and loved when you fail. Valued and loved when you understand. Valued and loved when you are confused. Valued and loved when you feel close to me. Valued and loved when you wonder where I am. My love is not fragile enough to be undone by your struggles. I formed you with care that does not tire, and attention that does not fade. Every detail of your life passed through my understanding. Nothing about you is hidden from me. Not your joys, not your fears, not the parts of yourself you struggle to accept. I formed you with purpose, care, and delight. Every detail of your life was seen by me, and every part of you was created by my loving hands. When you look in the mirror, I do not want you to see flaws as mistakes, incompleteness, or that something is wrong with you. When you look in the mirror, what you call imperfection, I call individuality. What you call weakness, I often use as a place where strength will quietly take root. When you look in the mirror, see no mistakes, but fingerprints of the divine. Not weakness, but the strength of being known fully, completely by God Himself. Even now, while you're still growing, still healing, still learning, I delight in you. I delight in the person you are. I delight in the person you are becoming. I delight in the journey between these two realities, for growth has never frightened me. I knew there will be seasons when your faith will feel strong and seasons when it will feel small. I knew there will be moments when you will walk confidently and moments when you will stumble. Yet, I never built my love upon your perfection. I built it upon my character, and my character does not change. I want you to see evidence of creation, proof that you were shaped with intention. I want you to see what I see, a masterpiece. You are not an accident, a mistake, or an afterthought. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. I created you uniquely, with gifts no one else possesses, a heart unlike any other, and a purpose that is entirely your own. No one else can have your fingerprint. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are not an afterthought. You are a living expression of my design, one that cannot be duplicated or replaced. The same hands that formed you continue to hold you. The same voice that called you by name continue to speak over you. The same heart that imagined your existence continue to cherish you. Walk gently with yourself. Walk with confidence and courage. My precious one, live without hiding. Live fully. Love deeply, and know that nothing about you is hidden from me, and nothing about you is unloved. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and my love for you is forever, unquestionable, unshakable, and never ending. So hold your head high. Walk confidently in the truth that you were created with intention, beauty, worth, and value that is incomprehensible. You are a wonder of my creation, and I take delight in you. Let your life be lived in the awareness that you are fully known and fully loved. In times when you forget, and you will, at those times, return to this truth as if returning home. Come back to my words and hear me say again. Carry the memory you are not assembled by accident. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are deeply loved. You are precious to me. Trust me with the parts of your stories that remain unclear. Trust me with the chapters that still been written. The one who formed you has not forgotten you. The one who began the work within you has not abandoned you. The one who called you beloved then still calls you beloved today. So work forward, my child. Not because you have all the answers, not because you are without fear, not because every wound has healed. Walk forward because you are helped. Walk forward because grace works beside you. Walk forward because you were never created to live imprisoned by shame, by fear, or comparison. Lift your eyes. There is purpose ahead of you. There is goodness surrounding you. There is mercy following you. There's hope waiting for you. And there is a love that has pursued you before the foundations of the world. A love that knew your name before creation sang its first song. Whenever you forget who you are, return here. Return to the truth that existed before every lie. Return to the voice that spoke before every accusation. Return to the love that came before every fear. And hear me say once more, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are chosen, known, and cherished. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not overlooked. You are my beloved, my masterpiece, my treasured creation. And nothing in all creation can separate you from my love. Not your failures, not your fears, not your doubts, not your past, not your present, not your future. So I formed you with intention. I sustained you with grace. And I loved you with an everlasting love. And I still do. So rest in this truth. You are fully known. You are deeply loved. You are wonderfully made. And you are forever precious to me. This love letter is taken from Psalm 139, verse 14. I hope it bless you. Take care. Bye.